and I do hope you will enjoy her story. But before that, please allow me a few moments to tell you what's going on at Afasic. We are currently in the process of redesigning our website, which we plan to launch in the summer. The new site aims to be more parent-friendly, have clearer information and better access for professionals. This means that whether you're a parent coming for the first time or a professional seeking more in-depth advice, you are clearly signposted to what we need. Jean, who is leading this project, is here today and has kindly provided us with some previews for you all to have a look at. So please do take a look at what she's done and have a chat with her. She'll be over here and be happy to walk you through what's going on the website. We are also entering a new phase here at Afasic. Unfortunately, as many of you may be aware, funding via trusts, the government and the lottery, which has traditionally funded the majority of our projects, are now becoming harder and harder to obtain. So in order to ensure our work with families affected by speech, language and communication can continue, we have been focusing more on our fundraising. This year, we have launched an initiative to increase the number of regular donors who give to Afasic. The support of donors is vital, and over time, regular donations can accumulate to a significant sum. For example, if 100 people gave £20 per month to Afasic, that would raise £24,000 per year, which would cover the costs of 5 summer schools, keep the helpline open for 30 weeks, or fund 2 youth groups for a year. It would also fund a family support worker for a year. The regular support really has a significant difference and allows us to plan ahead in the knowledge that funding is secure. It also means that even though funding from other sources may no longer be certain, we can plan with confidence the work that we do for our families. These regular donations really make an impact. We have some direct debits, and I know Vicky would be happy to talk you through anybody who has any questions about that. Our helpline ladies, I think Liz is still here, as Alison.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a very exciting year for them too, with the launch of our free monthly drop-ins, meaning that people can come in and get face-to-face advice and support. These have been very popular to start with, and seeing more and more people coming along is really encouraging. Further to this, the helpline now have a facility to chat live with people visiting our website. This is a great way of connecting with people and providing advice to those who would be less likely to call the helpline. Furthering our services and ways in which we are really excited with both of these initiatives, so we hope they will continue successfully in the future. Both Liz, and I'm afraid Alison's just disappeared, from the helpline, I think we have a helpline volunteer as well, who'll be very happy to chat through what we're doing there and talk about our services. I'm sure they'll be happy to spend some time with you. Once again, thank you all for attending and showing your support for Afasic. I'm now very pleased to introduce Victoria Rose. What I do want to do is one thank you before you start, Victoria, and that's to Gemma, who is our own Mary Berry and has been doing the baking. So enjoy.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Well, it's actually really a privilege to be asked to speak and to share something not actually just of my story, but particularly of my son, Henry, who is the reason that I am involved with Afasic. And Afasic has made a huge difference to not just my life, but to Henry's life and to all of our family and friends. And it's really helped, it was a bedrock to help Henry achieve the success and to fulfill the potential that he has achieved in his life. So starting at the beginning, he was my first child, and he's now 30 years old, so he's born in 1980. And both his father and I had no experience of any child with any kind of difficulty. We both come from high education background, high achievers, all that kind of stuff. And We were thrilled to have our firstborn son, and slightly bemused to find that he wasn't developing in the same way as all the other children who were born in my child support group, the NCT National Childbirth Group. And the early years were very difficult. Never having had a child before, I had no idea what to expect. And I listened to the encouragement of our families who were saying they all develop at different rates, and don't worry, he'll be absolutely fine. And then I realised that at this group that I was with particularly, he was the only child who wasn't talking, the only child who wasn't walking, apart from the child who had cerebral palsy, who kind of got the sympathy vote, if you know what I mean about that, because it was obvious to see that this child had challenges. So the effect that this had particularly on me, because Henry's just doing his thing, or not doing his thing, was that there was a lot of isolation as the other children grew up and doing their things and became sociable. I felt very isolated. I couldn't really believe that there was something, quotes, wrong with my child, with our child, and we had no idea where to go for any help. The health visitor recommended grommets, hearing aids, all that kind of stuff that some of you may be familiar with. Let's fix this problem physically. And we went through all of that. He had a tongue tie operation, quite a bit of surgery of those small but hopefully significant measures. And meanwhile, my own isolation and sense of devastation and loss was increasing. And I was very fortunate to have an Australian friend at the time who saw me really beside myself. And she said, I am going to find, there must be somebody, some organisation out there who can help you. And she said, you have my children. I've got 2 boys, she had 2 girls. You have my children for the day and I will find something for you. And if you remember, Henry's now 30, this was probably 27 years ago. There was no internet, strange though it may seem. And she came back later on to pick up her children and she said, I have found this charity called Afasic. And what's more, there is a support group in North Surrey. They meet every other Wednesday and you're going on Wednesday and I'm going to look after your children. And everything changed from then on. It was such a lifeline for me. I went to meet these other women, it was in somebody's garden in North Surrey, and to have other parents going through the same situation with their children was such a revelation and such an encouragement. And what I got from them, yes, was some tea and sympathy, empathy actually, more than sympathy, which was incredibly important for me. It was like falling into their arms. And we also got a lot of, I remember so clearly actually that first meeting, even at that first day, some strategies. And I was pouring out my heart. He doesn't know his colours, he can't tell the time, he can't say his words, he doesn't remember anything, can't ride a bike. And one of the mothers piped up, she said, I've got this great thing for riding a bike. She said, because if you think about it, it takes both sides of the body. You push, left and right, left and right. Of course, Henry has no idea of left and right. And she said you put a welly on one foot and a slipper on the other foot, and you go to the child, welly, slipper, welly, slipper, welly. And it was so, wow, who would have thought of that? And so I was so excited from many levels, but even that, going home at the weekend, going, right, Henry, we're going out on your bike, with his trainer wheels, obviously. welly slipper, and it's brilliant. So he learnt to ride a bike. So there were many things that helped me there, but it wasn't just the support; it was also very practical support that Afasic has provided me with. A lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding about speech and learning difficulties, how that affects the child, and how practically but also emotionally, and the repercussions of this, which are actually can be very large. But mostly, I would say it empowered me, because knowledge and understanding give you empowerment. And having the support of Afasic underneath me, so someone to turn to if I needed tea and sympathy, or if I needed to know about the latest Education Act, how to have meetings with my education authority to get what we thought would be the best thing for Henry. It was just a complete, as I said, a lifeline, so practical and emotional support. And a big part of helping me in this way and empowering me was that it meant that I could help Henry better. And having some support for me, as practically and emotionally, as I said, I could then be better with Henry. And instead of despairing, taking things out on him, I could have real practical support. And I was talking to Henry on the phone about a week ago and said I was coming here and was going to share some of his story. And I said, what is your recollection of Afasic? What does it mean to you? And he said, well, it's activity weeks. And from probably, I can't remember exactly, but I think about age 3, every year he went on an activity week arranged by North Surrey. And it was such a brilliant thing to do for him. He got experiences he would never have done. He had one-on-one help from trainee speech and language therapists for the whole day that he was there. He did abseiling, he did canoeing, all kinds of things that he was able to do with that level of support. And it gave him independence, confidence, and also it gave him some time away from the family, because you do these things with him together. He could do them away from me, and I had time to do other things with his younger brother, which was also really, really important. So what's happened since then, this is the early years, which is so important, and where Afasic is so supportive in those early years, is that Henry had a statement of special educational needs from age 5 until he was 18. He was in an infant language unit and then a junior language unit, and then I got him a place with Afasic support and found a school called Morehouse School at Frensham outside Farnham, and he was there until he was 18, and he became the only child at that stage to get an A-level. He was the only child in the upper sixth form, and he got an A-level, and he is very talented at art. And he went from Morehouse School to do an Arts Foundation course at Kingston University, which is one of the top art colleges in the country. And just to share a very poignant moment for me there, to see him go on to do normal, to join the normal system, feel okay with that expression, was so moving. And at the final show, after he'd been there a year, I went, it was packed at Kingston, very high-flying, really well experienced, talented people all around. And Henry was showing me his final piece, and the tutor said, "Oh, are you Henry's mum?" I said, "Yes, I'm Henry's mum." And he called one of the other tutors over and he said, "We want to talk to you outside." And I was like, "Oh my God, something awful." And he said, "We want you to know that Henry is the reason we do this work, because he is so special. The time and how he is with people and the way he communicates is so different from other people, and it makes our job worthwhile." And it was really, Henry can't understand it because to Henry it's normal, but so much has helped him along the way to be open and to communicate with people. So he went from there to Lincoln University and he did a degree in illustration. And when he graduated, it was one of the proudest days of my life. And it was in Lincoln Cathedral on a beautiful September's afternoon. And they were sitting there all in their robes. And we happened to be sitting nearby. And they have big, glossy programmes. And I went up to see Henry, and I've got my programme, I hadn't looked at it. And Henry said, "Have you seen the programme?" "Don't cry, Mum, don't cry, don't cry." So I opened it at his page and it said, "Henry Billington, Special Award Student of the Year." And I did cry. And he said, "God's sake, told you, don't cry." It's really embarrassing. But I was so proud of this child who's come so far. And it shows how much support you get from the early years makes such a difference to these young people. Henry now has emigrated. He's married. He got married in December. He and his wife have emigrated to Australia. He has a job as an art director in an advertising agency over there. And he has just been his first major industry award in the Perth Advertising Best Press Advert of the Year for an advert called Make Smoking History. So he is such a success story for me. He is happy, he's fulfilled, and this is what Afasic has really helped us achieve together. And I'm eternally grateful for all the help and support that we've had over the years, and for your continuing support, Linda, and everybody who works here and supports Afasic, because I really believe without you we wouldn't be where we are now. And so I'm really, really grateful for the ongoing support for other young people too, to give them their voice for life and to fulfil their potential. So thank you.
Thank you.